So the next two lessons that we're going to take a look at should be all review from Algebra 1, some properties of exponents, which we've used a little bit so far when we've been simplifying our radical and rational expressions. So our first property, x to the 0 equals 1, anything to the 0 power. And I can go through the proofs of these properties if you would like me to in class. The second one is if you have a negative exponent, it moves to the denominator. So x to the negative n equals 1 over x to the n. Or if you have a negative in the denominator, so for example, if you have 1 over x to the negative n, that comes to the numerator and the exponent becomes positive. If you have a power of a power, you multiply the exponents. As I mentioned before, if you have only multiplication or division within your parentheses, you can distribute the power. Over here, we have a product of powers, which means you add the exponents. Quotient of powers means you subtract the exponents. And then finally, our rule for our rational exponents, converting it to radical form. The numerator becomes the power, x to the n. The denominator is your root, the nth root. So these videos are going to be a little bit different than most of them. We're going to have the you try. The last question on each page will be your you try question. And as I mentioned, this should be a review, so hopefully we can get through this pretty quickly. So our first question is, we have all multiplication and division within our parentheses. So since there's nothing we can simplify within the parentheses except moving that negative to the numerator, I'm just going to go ahead and distribute this power to everything inside the parentheses. Common mistake is to forget to raise the coefficient to the power as well, like I just did. I should be raising this negative to the power as well. All right, so 2 cubed is 8. B to the 4th cubed, we multiply our powers, so we have b to the 12th. A negative cubed is still negative. And a squared cubed, multiplying those powers, we get a to the 6th. Since the only thing we could have simplified before was bringing that negative to the numerator, that's the only thing we can simplify after we distribute the power. All right, second example. Again, I've got all multiplication within my parentheses, so I'm going to go ahead and distribute my negative exponent. And the reason I want to do that instead of flipping it is because the negative times the negative will make it positive, so I don't have to flip it twice. Over here, I'm going to go ahead and distribute my square as well, even though I could simplify that one first. I'm just going to stick with distributing for both of them. So x to the negative 3 to the negative 1, multiplying our powers, we get x cubed. Y to the negative 1 to the negative 1 becomes y to the 1st, or just y. X to the negative 3 squared is x to the negative 6th. And y to the 0 is 1, so when you square that, you still get 1, so that term disappears. So I can either bring that x to the negative 6 to the denominator and then simplify, or I can simplify and then see if I need to bring it to the denominator. So x cubed times x to the negative 6th, we're going to add those exponents, so it becomes x to the negative 3. And because it's negative, we are going to go ahead and bring that to the denominator and make the exponent positive. We've got another distribution, but this time I can simplify inside the brackets before I distribute that negative 1. So I'm going to do that first this time. In the denominator, I'm going to distribute that cube. So 2 cubed is 8, and x cubed, of course, is x cubed. Still simplifying inside the parentheses, 2 over 8 simplifies to 1/4. X to the negative 3 in the numerator, I can move that to the denominator and make that exponent positive, and then my x cubed in the denominator stays positive. Multiplying those powers in the denominator, I get x to the 6th, and the negative 1 power really just means flip it. So it becomes 4x to the 6th in the numerator instead of in the denominator. All right, we have 2 more on this page, so I will go through one more with you, and this question 5 will be your you try. So question 4, we've got s to the negative 3 over 4t, which can't be simplified, so I'm going to start by distributing my negative 3. to all of the terms, including that 4. Second one, 5t over s to the negative 7. Again, nothing can be simplified, so I'm going to go ahead and distribute my negative 2. So we have s to the negative 3 to the negative 3 multiplying. We get s to the positive 9th over 4 cubed, which is 64. And then I'm going to leave the negative 1 on it because we'll have to flip that. And then t to the negative 3. Second set of parentheses, 5 squared is 25, but we'll still have that to the negative first power. T to the negative 2. All over s to the positive 14th. So what I like to do before I multiply these expressions is to get all of the exponents positive. So I'm going to do that first. So in my first expression, I'm going to leave s to the 9th where it is, and I'm going to bring the 64 and the t cubed to the numerator. So I have nothing left in the denominator on that first expression. My second one, same thing, I'm going to leave s to the 14th where it is and bring my 25 and t to the negative 2 to the denominator. Alright, so now I can multiply my expressions. 64 and 25 have no common factors, so I can't simplify those. S to the 9th over s to the 14th. So if we think about this the long way, and I'll do this kind of quickly, we have s to the 9th in the numerator, so that's 9 s's. And we have 14 s's in the denominator. So we'll pretend we have 14 s's down there. So the 9 s's in the numerator will cancel with 9 of the s's in the denominator, leaving us with 5 s's still in the denominator. Similar concept with our t's. We have t cubed divided by t squared, so we subtract the exponents and we get t in the numerator because there are more t's to begin with in the numerator. So our final expression is 64t over 25s to the 5th. And again, question 5 is your U-try for this video.